In the past, some children and young people have been hurt by adults who were supposed to be looking after them. This included children and young people who were in hospital, at school, in youth detention, or were living in care away from their birth families. Sometimes adults and organisations were good at responding and kept children and young people safe, but sometimes they failed. They didn't believe children and young people. They didn't put children first. To make things better, the Tasmanian Government formed a commission of inquiry because they were worried that bad things might keep happening to children. The Commission asked us to speak with children and young people and hear their ideas about how adults and organisations can protect them and help them feel safe. The Commission will use these ideas to shape their recommendations. In 2022, we spoke with 59 children and young people across Tasmania, one-on-one or in small groups. They told us that most of the time they felt safe in organisations. These are some of the things they told us. Children and young people told us that safety is often something you feel. When you are safe, you are calm and relaxed. When you're unsafe, you feel tense, have butterflies, and are creeped out. Sometimes children feel safe when they are not safe, and sometimes they are freaked out when things are pretty okay. Adults can think differently from children and young people about what it means to be safe. Adults often rely on their own experiences to decide if someone, something, or some place isn't safe. Because of this, adults are sometimes not good at listening when children raise a concern, especially if they haven't seen it themselves. If children feel like they're not being taken seriously or don't feel understood, they will probably stop sharing their worries. Children and young people told us they need to have an adult they trust. They need to know that this adult will listen to them, believe them, take their worries seriously, and protect them from any consequences. Children and young people told us that they need to be surrounded by people who help them feel safe. To feel safe in an organisation, they need people who respect them and value them. Adults can make organisations feel safe by keeping spaces child-friendly, tidy and clean, removing things that can hurt children and young people, and giving children some freedom over where they can be and what happens in their space. Children and young people need an adult that they can trust. These adults are caring, truthful, trustworthy, and real, not fake. Every child needs someone who they can turn to, who they can get advice from, and someone who takes action when they need it. Children and young people feel safe when they know what's going to happen next, when things are stable and predictable. Child-safe organisations work hard to help children feel this way. Children and young people feel safe when they are told how adults are keeping them safe. Child-safe organisations give children and young people the right amount of information in the right way. Children and young people want adults to use their position of power for them rather than against them. They want adults to work with them rather than just telling them what to do. They want to be given opportunities to build themselves up, to feel more confident, to have more control. In some organisations, children and young people don't feel safe, and sometimes they have been harmed. Many told us that they were worried about bullying and violence by peers or by adults. They felt that sometimes adults and organisations weren't great at stopping them from being hurt. When adults didn't step in, children and young people lost confidence in them and felt that they might not be able to turn to adults with other problems. Children and young people also felt that sometimes adults could be bullies. Adults could be harsh or unfair. Adults could make children feel really small. Adults could hurt them or do things that weren't right. Sometimes adults who were meant to be looking after children weren't good at looking after them. They didn't show enough care and didn't protect them from other children or adults. Sometimes children and young people worry about things that might happen on the internet or on their phones. Sometimes they feel like adults don't understand the online world. Young people thought that adults need to work with them to find ways to stay safe online. Children and young people told us that adults and organisations shouldn't wait for bad things to happen before stepping in. They should ask children and young people what they need. Stand up for them. They should take action, like keep an eye out, take notice, ask lots of questions like, are you okay? Are you feeling safe? They should take children's worries seriously. Sometimes adults got distracted by their phones or said things like, talk to me later, but never did. Children and young people need to know the rules and what kind of behaviour to expect of adults. What's right? What's wrong? And they need to know that it's okay to ask questions, make complaints, or talk about their worries. If they make a complaint, children and young people need to know what adults are going to do. Saying, don't worry, we've got this under control, isn't very helpful. Adults need to share what they are doing, reassure young people, and keep them updated. It's not helpful when adults say, that's not my job, or someone else can help. Adults need to work together to offer support. When children and young people are hurt, they sometimes need help from outside the organisation. It could be a parent or a family friend. It's important for young people to know who they can turn to. Life can be really tough for children and young people who have been hurt by adults or their peers. They want adults to understand how they feel and help them heal, to grow stronger and feel comfortable around other people again. Children and young people felt that most adults and organisations were doing quite well in keeping them safe and feeling safe. They wanted to have a say in what would make things safer for themselves and for other children and young people. They wanted to share their ideas with adults and be listened to when they say, that's not going to work, or there are other ways to make me safe. They also wanted to work with adults to find solutions together.